and then add in some data with it. So, look at these. What kind of data do you think we'd want to have for the window?
Size?
Size. Thickness. Maybe. What do you mean by thickness? So we want to know the size. If we're going to be building this house, what else do we want to know about that window?
Width, height.
Well, that's size, right?
Style.
Yeah, maybe a style. So style, or maybe a part number. Maybe the manufacturer. So manufacturer, part number. What else? What else might we want to know about either that door or that window? So size, manufacturer who's making it, part numbers, yeah, maybe the material. What else?
Design. Or would that go in?
Well, that would kind of go under the, you like with the manufacturer part number to get that. Yeah, maybe if they had any special features. What else?
Assembly. Like the brackets and stuff, assemblies and stuff.
Nah, because that's, let me put it in there.
How it opens?
What?
How it opens?
Yeah, maybe parameters or something. So there's a slider, is it an awning, is one of those casement windows, you know, that
Open out.
no use. What else? You guys are missing one big thing that I'd like to know.
Price.
Price. So how much is it going to cost? So those are all kind of good things we'd like to be able to keep track of. So you probably have like printouts and stuff stuck in a binder somewhere. But it'd also be nice to be able to look at that door and actually click on it and see what it is. So that's what we're going to do with attributes. So we're going to pick out some of these things and then we'll make, instead of having this label here, we're going to just make letters for them. So A, B, C, and then 1, 2, 3 for the doors and windows. So kind of alternate them. And then on the architectural drawings, we actually just make a table that has all that stuff. So we're going to make an ID number. So we're going to make an ID. And we're going to make it visible. So that means we're going to make it so we can actually see what it is. We're also going to make the size, the part number, the manufacturer, and the price. I'm just going to keep it simple. If you want to add more when you do the practice, you can. And then these I'm all going to make invisible, because those I'm going to pull out and put into a table. But I don't need them taking up space on the drawing. And then because of this, we're going to use a text height of 6 inches. So it'll actually be about the same. So the text will be about the same width as the wall. So we can actually see the text for that label. And then we're just going to put a circle around the ID for the windows, and for doors we're going to do the same thing, the same attributes, but we're going to put a triangle around. So am I going to have to recreate all these again?
No.
No. I'm just going to draw a circle around one, draw a triangle around the other one. So when I'm going to do these, I'm going to go into here, and where do you think attributes are?
In the property? the property?
No, no. It's not in the properties. Where would I go to add attributes to them?
Annotate?
You think so, right? But where is blocks? Insert. So they've got a whole section right here called attributes. So that's what we're going to do first. Is we're going to define our attributes. So we're going to tell it which attributes we want. And should we include those in the same block as the door? Should we include in the same block as the window? Or should we make it a separate block?
They're going to be the exact same size window, the same parameter.
But what are we doing to our doors and windows? Are they all the same size?
No.
No. So if we included it into the same block as our door and window, what would happen was when we scaled up our block, we'd scale up this little tag also. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to make them separate. So the way all the tags are the same. Oh, one thing I forgot last week is that when you make your blocks, so when you're drawing stuff for your blocks, you want to be on the zero layer. This is where that zero layer is important. Because if you draw things on the zero layer, and then when you make them in a block, now when I put them on another layer, it's going to keep the properties of that layer. If I drew something on this test layer, and then I insert that, and if I change it to this other layer, see it didn't change its properties. Even though when I pick on it, it shows that it's on a layer that's green, it's still red. It's because of stuff that's inside the block was on that layer. And so if you want it to be able to have the new properties of a new layer, once it's inserted, you want to draw it on the zero layer. Okay? So that's where the zero layer, so everything that's inside your blocks should be on the zero layer. If you do this and you mess up, and you put it on a block, a layer before you make the block, you just double click on it, and open the block editor. Now you just pick on that, go back to home, set it back to 0, and then close it and save. And now it'll behave correctly. Okay? So going back to where we were. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to define attributes, making sure I'm on the 0 layer. So the way it'll follow my properties. Insert, define attributes. So this comes up. So it asks me a few things over here. Do I want it invisible? Do I want it constant? Constant means I set a value here and I can't change it later on at all. Do I want to verify it? It means I have to type it in twice. Do I want a preset, lock position? If I take lock position off, that means that after I insert it, I can still move each attribute around by itself. Usually you don't want that, so we leave that on.
Quick question.
Yeah.
When you're doing this, once you set that attribute or whatever, you can always still go back to your own.
Yeah, right now we're defining the attribute itself, and later on after you insert it, that's when you add the data into it.
Are you going to actually change the modes and stuff once it's already there?
No, we're going to do that right now as we're making it. So the ID first, we want visible, so we're not going to check that. The tag, this is kind of the name of the attribute. This is the name of that data field. The prompt is what it's going to ask you when you insert it. Or if you double click on it to bring up the dialog box to change it later on. The prompt is what that's going to ask you. Default value is what?
Whatever you set it at?
Yeah, default value is going to be whatever it comes up automatically. So I'll show you that in a minute where we might use that. And then our text information here. So this one's going to be ID. Prompt is what is the ID. Justification, that's going to say middle. Text height was 6 inches. Rotation 0. All right. And I'm just going to set it in right there. Now I go to define attributes. Now I have this little line below. I'm going to click on that. So it's going to make it all the same properties. Just put it right below the last one. I'm going to tell it to be invisible. Manufacturer, or even make it easier, menu. Who is and then the default. So like if I buy a lot of windows from Anderson, and like 99% of my windows, or even 50% of my windows are Anderson windows, I might make it the default value Anderson. So that way when I insert it, if it is an Anderson window, I don't have to type it in. If it's something else, I'm going to type it anyways. But at least now I cut down my typing on half my things. And I'll say OK. And in the tag, you can't have any spaces. So there's no spaces in the tag. So I've made all those, I've made my attributes. Oh, front size. So I've got my attributes. Now I'm just going to take all these and copy them over here. So these are going to be the ones for the door. Those are going to be the ones for the window. We're just going to draw a circle. Like that. Polygon, 3 sides. Triangle. Just like that. Right? Questions so far? So I just went through, I defined each of my attributes, defined what I want the fields to be, and I copied over one with a circle, one with a triangle. And I want circle for the windows, triangle for the doors. So windows, doors. So now I'm going to make a block, just like we did last week, create a block. I'm going to call this door, Windows attributes. My base point there, select objects. And the order that I select these objects is the order that they're going to come up when I insert it. So if I just do a window, it's going to pick part number first, then the manufacturer, then price, then size, then ID. That's kind of the way it hit them. If I did it coming down this way, then pick them in order. So it's easier to make sure you get them in the right order. Just pick them the order you want them. So first I want an ID, then I want the size, then the manufacturer, then part number, price. That's the order I want to show up in my box. Okay, and delete them. So now I've made a block out of them, and they're gone. Now I can insert that door attributes. 1-to-1 scale, good. Okay, right here. Now look at what it's asking me. What is the ID? That's going to be 1. What's the size? I don't know, 3872. Who's the manufacturer? Oh, yeah, Anderson. It's part number. It's the price, $250. Cheap door. And then so, insert, put it in again. ID 2, size 8072. that in. So same thing for windows. ID A size 5040 Inco. And how about these two that are the same size window?
Copy.
Yeah, just copy the tag. So I'm just going to copy this. Copy it like that. Because it's the same exact thing, so the same label works for it. Any questions on that? Questions on making that, defining the attributes, making them into a block, or inserting them? If I double click on it, so I get a little box that comes up, ID, size, manufacturer, part number, price. So now I can pick these. This should look familiar, right?
Yeah.
Where are you guys using this already?
In the layout.
Your title blocks, right? That way everything's in the right spots. You don't have to type your own stuff in. You just bring up the box, fill it out. A lot of places do that for title blocks. I'm going to pretend like I had another window over here. So I can have this other one and change it. So that's a B, that's a 4040. So I just changed some values on it. Pretend there's a window there. So now what I want to do is I want to pull this data out and make a table. That'd be really nice to do. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go back to insert. And then over here, under linking and extracting, I'm going to go extract data. And yes, I want to save it. Alright, save. And so now it's going to come through and ask me, it's an 8-step process of basically click yes, 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 I want to pick this, yes, yes, yes. So I want to create a new data extraction. So next, it asks me where I want to save it. I'm just going to save it here, and I'm going to call it doors. And then what do I want to extract? Do I want to extract everything from the drawing? Or do I want to extract certain objects? So in this case I want just the doors. So I can hit that and pick my attributes for the 2 doors. If I wanted just to do everything as one table, might as well just pick everything, right? And then I'll hit next. I don't actually need, you notice I didn't pick the block of the door itself, because that doesn't have anything in it. The data is all right here in the tags, in the attributes that we just made. So now it asks, what do we want to extract? Do we want to extract the attribute definition? No, we actually want the attribute itself. So we don't want that. We want data from the circle?
No.
No. Data from the polyline? No. Because other stuff we can get is like area and size and color and all the different properties. For that we can pull that data out also. But we don't care about that for this. So we're just going to have just the blocks. And so we could say just display blocks with attributes only. So take that check mark. So only blocks with attributes, shows only those 2. So the next. And so what do we want? Do we want 3D visualization stuff? No. Do we want the drawing properties? No. General properties? No. Geometry? No. Miscellaneous? No. All we care about is the attribute data. We just care about that. We don't care about the XY position or the scale or any of that stuff. We just want the attribute data from it. Go next. And so now it's kind of giving us our little breakdown. So it's sorting our doors and our windows here. If we had done them separately, we could hide this column. So if we had done just the doors or then just the windows, we could have hidden that column. But if we do that now, we're not going to know which one's which, so might as well leave that in. So we have our name, our ID, how many there are. So window A, there were 2 of them. And that's because all the properties were the same. So all, for the ID, manufacturer, part number, price, all 4 of those were exactly the same. In size, those were all exactly the same. So it counted it twice. If there had been 1 character different in one of those, then it'd be 2 different items. So that's why you just want to copy it if you have 2 that are the same. We're going to next. And now that's just what do we want to do. Do we want to put a table in this file, in this drawing file, using an AutoCAD table, or do we want to save it to Excel, or what's a CSV? You know what a CSV file is? What?
Is it Visio?
It might read them, but I don't know. What's CSV? It's comma separated values. So it's just a data file. So Excel can save them. You can use them to import info into Outlook or other programs. It's kind of a basic. Anytime you need some data in a tabular format, you can save it as CSV and bring it in. If you download your contact book from like Gmail, it's a CSV file. What's an MDB? It's an MDB file.
Database.
Yeah, database, so that's access. Or a TXT, what's that?
Text.
Just a text file. So I'm going to pick both. I'm going to tell it, yes, I want it in the file here, but I also want to put it out as an Excel drawing. Hit next. Because I told it I wanted a table inside of AutoCAD, it brings me to this screen, asking me how I want that table set up. So I could go in here and look at the table properties. Just like dimensions and text had properties, tables have properties also. So if you're going to use this, you'd want to set these all up so that it looks right. We're just going to use the default right now. We want to put a title on it. Or Windows. Finish. Where we want the table, right there. Really tiny. That's going to go out of there and into paper space though. Right? It's like we got a D size. So it goes in there like that somehow. So maybe now I can go in and maybe, no. Yeah. Okay. that's why you want to do them separately. Because here I can't do anything. I can't insert new rows or anything. I don't use AutoCAD tables for that reason. They're can't do everything you want to do with them.
So what do you usually do? Import other software tables?
So I'm going to go over here, open that Excel file. But it's sorted weird. So let's insert a row there, insert a row there. Delete that column. Where's the center? Doors. Windows. Make that into money. So that's so now I can do all the normal Excel formatting I want to do. I can color things, whatever. Now you just take it, copy it, back to AutoCAD, and paste it. So that's what I do for tables. If I don't draw it manually in AutoCAD, just by copying text and typing it in, do it in Excel, copy it, go to AutoCAD, paste it. Okay? There's also we also did the electrical one last week, right? So we insert resistor. And with these, we just had it one size, right? We're never going to insert them different sizes. So in this case, can we put the attributes right into the same block? Yeah. So I'm just going to go into that. So I'm just going to double click on it. Okay. Now go to annotate, define attributes, ID.
You don't have to have a prompt, or do you need to have a prompt?
Yep.
So you can't build an attribute without a prompt?
That is way too big.
Well, I'm saying if it's the attribute's going to be the same for all the.
No, but it still needs to have a prompt. It's going to be the same always, put a default value in. But you have to have a prompt so it can ask you what that thing is. Text type, that's going to be 0.12. Value. Maybe I'll make those centered, so properties. Instead of being left, I'll do them center. Maybe that's to say centered on it. Make that one invisible. So I can do the same thing here. Fill in the rest of them that I wanted. So ID, I said rating, I said value, part number, price, anything else I'd want for that. And I'm just going to close the block editor and save it. So now when I double click that whole thing, go to edit attributes, click on it. What the? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to explode that then. Just going to cut that. Paste it in. So I just cut it out of the block, pasted it back in. I'm just going to make it again. We're just going to create resistor, base point, select objects, those, delete, yes. Now when I insert it, so ID, A, value, 200, price, 105. So now it's going to put it in for me. And I can just go back through and do them. And if I had one that was, I had a bunch of them already in, when I redefine that, as long as I pick that same base point, it'll update all the ones that are already there with the new stuff. So I go back.
As long as you pick the same base point every time, they'll update all of them.
Yep. So like there, but if I had inserted resistor there, oops, I usually kept it. Oh, it just wouldn't do it on that one that. It just didn't like that original one. But any ones that I inserted after that were going to be done. But once I saved that one, it would have updated the data, or updated them, the rest of them. So, questions?
So would it be safe to say do the original and then do whatever block it is and then do it after the new one instead of the old
Well,
one?
if you know that you're going to put attributes in it, it's better to do them up front. Or just to put it in, do it, and then I guess the block editor, doing attributes in the block editor, it doesn't like them as much as if you just put one and exploded it and then redid it. So, any questions? So this week you have labs.